Alright, what's up guys? So today I'm going to show you how to make a crate just like this for your heavy engine part, whether that be a cylinder head, engine block, or even a differential. You can package it in a box without it getting damaged. This is a cylinder head from a Subaru that I recently sold, and I figured I'd make a video to show you guys how to make a crate just like this. So let's get into the video. So I sold this Subaru EJ25 cylinder head. It's got the cams, the valves, and basically the whole assembly. Now this is a 4-cylinder boxer motor, so it has 2 cylinder heads. You're going to want to go ahead and get your cylinder head and get your measuring tape basically as far out as you can. So right here, the length of it sticks out right here where this end of the camshaft is, and all the way to the back. So we'll measure that. About 13.5, and just to be safe, we'll say 14 inches. So now you're going to want to measure the width. That's about 13 inches as well. And just to give this a little bit of room, I mean, maybe 13 or 14 inches. You're going to want to measure the height, about 7 inches right there. After you got all that, you're going to want to find a box that can fit this without being too big or too small. And sometimes you won't be able to find a box like that, so we'll have to modify it. But luckily, I have a box that is pretty close to it. Remember, so you're gonna wanna make a plate that's basically to the inside of this box. So we could probably go 14 here, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, so we're gonna go 17 3/4 and then 13 3/4, and that's gonna be our plate for the bottom. With this type of method, you're not gonna really need any kind of packing material besides the cardboard. You might need a little bit extra for the bottom. Another thing you're gonna need are these long zip ties. You can get these from Harbor Freight, they're pretty cheap. Usually you'll need about 2 of them to basically hold this cylinder head down to the board. The least amount of movement up and down. Side to side doesn't really matter, and I'll show you guys why in a bit. Remember our dimensions. This is 3/4 plywood. You don't want to find anything too expensive, just something cheap that you got laying around maybe. But this will work for this small little cylinder head, and it's probably even a little overkill. So we'll go ahead and mark it at 13 3/4. And mark our line right there. 17 3/4. So, oh, that's 16. 17 3/4. Now you're going to want to make 2 of these, so once you cut this one out, you can copy this to another piece of plywood, and you should be good for the base plates. Now before you go ahead and make your second base plate, I like to go ahead and just fit it. Make sure it fits good, and that fits pretty decent. It's a little bit tight, so I might trim off a little bit more from the longer end. That fits pretty snug in there. Before we continue, I always like to throw a sheet of plastic around the cylinder head, just because I think it looks professional, and I also like to put one of my little coupons in with it as well, and it holds it in there perfectly. Put our cylinder head up here. And you basically just wrap it up. You don't gotta waste too much plastic. And this is really kind of an unnecessary step, but it's something I always do. And we'll throw the coupon in here. $10 off 100 or more. Now we want to fit it up to this board and place it as close in the middle as possible around all edges. So these zip ties are what's going to hold this thing down to this plate. So what I like to do is basically kind of trace the lines of this at the bottom, just at the very bottom, because we want to get the zip tie as close to the bottom as possible. And there we go. And now you can already tell we're going to need 2 of these, even though they're really long. Yeah, we're going to need 2 of these. Now you just kind of find where you want to put your zip ties. It's kind of up to you. I think it'll fit best around these little things. I might have to poke a hole in this to get it to go through. But you can kind of line it up and then just make your marks where it fits best. You might be able to get it. It's not really a good spot for a second one. I'm not seeing it. Might just have to put it down here. So mark a line there. And another there. As you can see on our graph right here, the outline of the entire thing and where our marks are. So we're gonna need to drill a hole about right there, right there, right there. You can put it right on the line too. It's fine. Make sure your zip tie fits through that. If it does. And drill all your other holes. Through this. And a lot of people use strapping material too, which that can be a little bit more expensive. So I try to keep the cost low by using the zip ties. Okay. This other zip tie, we're going to cut this one a little bit short, but it's okay. Now you just kind of cinch these down. That's why I like the zip ties. Okay, so now that we got this built, we no longer need the drill or the drill bit, so you can go ahead and put those away. Things not falling off there. Now you can bring this onto the workbench, and we're going to need to cut some more boards really to lock this in. Height of the box was about 10 inches, so we're going to make these about 9 inches and maybe just a slightly smaller, just to play with the gap just a little bit. So I'm going to mark these at 8 7/8, and you're going to need about somewhere between 4 and 8 of these. So I'm going to make about 6 of these because I'll be able to get 3, and I think that will be enough. Size them up, that's pretty good. Now, we gotta mark our, so this is 5.5. So this 5.5 divided by 3. Now with these, because this is 2 by 6, it's really 5.5. I'm not gonna really, it doesn't really matter on the widths of these. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of eyeball it. and you can use your square to square them off. Or you actually don't need to do that. If you have a table saw, you can use that as well. So that's what I'm going to use. But if you wanted to, you could use the same hand saw and basically slice these. But since I got a table saw, I'm going to cut these on a table saw. Basically got all the pieces to the puzzle. At this point, get yourself some decent screws, and what I like to do is basically find a spot where it's going to keep this from moving forward and backward, and our boards at the end can kind of keep it from moving side to side. So this is going to keep the cylinder head from moving forward and backward when it's in the box. Now I can make some on the sides. It's probably not super necessary because it's probably not going to move that much, but I'll go ahead and put one right here where it's up against this side. It's a nice flat piece on the cylinder head. Okay, so that's going to keep it from sliding anywhere, so it should be fine just like that. Now you can get these pieces, any area where it looks like it's, you know, not going to hold up, you can throw that in right there. You might do it like that, and then another one over here. Top piece. It's good. So yep, we're about 9 7/8 right there. 9 7/8. We're about 10 there, so a little off on that side, not too bad, and pretty close all around. So within 1/8 all around, that's pretty good. And we can give it the shake test. You can see the thing ain't moving. It's not moving. It's definitely not going to move in a package. If you want to be sure that these ends don't split, you can get another piece of wood, small piece on each corner. The corners are the most susceptible to breaking, but this seems to be fine. This is not a very heavy cylinder head. And if you really wanted to, you can also get some cardboard and staple it to the sides right here, just to make sure nothing can puncture the box from the sides. But as you can see, it's not going to puncture the top or the bottom, so this is probably good. Should slide in like a glove. Bam. Just like that. tape. Put this on top. And just like that, you can see the box top is solid, side's pretty solid, and this thing's ready to be shipped out once you get your label put on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure this thing up, get the dimensions, weigh it, and see what my shipping options are, and get this thing shipped out today. It took me about 10 minutes maybe to make the box. That's with the power tools that I have, so if you're not using power tools, it might take you a little bit longer. Step one, get a box that fits your thing perfectly, preferably as small as possible, and then get your base plate, measure that up, put that down, get your zip ties, zip it down, and then get these blocks that go up here, measure that good so it fits your box perfectly, and it's good. I hope that helps some of you guys out there that are wondering how to make a crate for your engine part. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it, and then subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. So thank you guys for watching.